Yeah, welcome to Life on the Hulls this week, guys. We're sailing just up north of Hook Island, probably about 4 or 5 k's off the coast, having a ball, and just a beautiful light little breeze heading out towards the reef. We're going to go out and then just tack back across the Hayman Island. So I took my mind off the job for a minute, and I'm getting directions from Tracy. She's going more up into the wind, more up into the wind. I couldn't work out why, and what it was we're out of the sun, so I had to move. I'm getting all these directions from the crew, and it's all about the sun. It's not about the sail performance. Fucking classic. There'll be a full episode of this trip. It's been quite funny so far. John's a bit of a lad. Tracy's great value, and you can see him up on the front deck up there. Mad whale watcher. So he's keen. He's as keen as mustard. And yeah, I'm just having a ball, loving every minute of this trip. We've been out here for 4 days. Just doesn't get any better than this when you're out here. It gives you a bit of inspiration. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and there's plenty of boat building in this issue. So let's get into it. Okay, so we lifted this up. I've lifted the module up by about 4 or 5 centimetres, just so I can get access into here. But what we're going to do, we're going to put a little riser here, or a little brace. I've beveled it on my ripping saw, and we're just going to glass this into here so that this step will sit right on top of it. Now I'll epoxy it on, I'll epoxy the base on, put some screws in it, and then I'll glass over the top of it, and that way it'll be glued permanently to the stairs. So this is essentially going to sit under here like so, and provide just a ledge to support the actual stair tread, and I think that'll be enough. It's not quite flat as this chamfer panel curves away, but I'm going to actually make it fit and screw it in place with some screws, and that should be more than enough. What do you reckon about there?
Looks good, mate.
About 5mm down, and then I'll put a couple of screws in it, and then I'll just glass over in certain areas to make sure that it gets done, so I can get on with it.
Well, you have to go out through the bulkhead and climb up through that other stairs.
Over the bulkhead.
Yeah.
If you get that under there.
You want me to lift?
No.
Don't say hell.
Well, we'll just put this other little understair cleat here, just for a bit of support. I don't think we need it, but I'm going to put it in there anyway, just to make sure that I've got all the bases covered before I glue this fella down. Well, they once said that all shipwrights, although they like traditional wooden methods, if they had had epoxy 100 years ago, they would have used it.
Of course.
So don't think you're being too traditional building a wooden boat without epoxy, because most people are using epoxy, and if you're not, you're missing out. Don't you reckon, John?
Yep.
Use the latest technology, wouldn't you?
Well, you know, Captain Cook had to lay his boat on the side in the town of 1770.
Yes, to dry it out.
To dry it out and repair it.
Yep. Imagine if you had epoxy, you wouldn't have needed to.
That's exactly right. But see, he went to the local rubber tree and tapped the tree and got the rubber out of it.
Did he?
I don't know. I don't know why he didn't.
He just filled it with straw.
Well, there was rubber trees them days too, you know.
Oh, yeah. Did we have rubber trees in Australia?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Always an education with you, John.
Always, mate. You got to get around the country and learn these things.
I love it. Here we go. Righto, I reckon that's enough.
You look like you know what you're doing. And that's the best part of it.
Got to say, this has been a pretty interesting part of the build for me, starting to think about the where the electrics are going to run, where the plumbing might run, and then the subsequent problems that have evolved out of that. Just getting these conduits in place has taken a good deal of time. With that module's been in, out, in, out, in, out. Bloody hell, it's just been an endless task. But I've worked out a way that I can sort of manage it around by just jacking it up a little bit to be able to get access to realise where it might be touching. Now, a couple of things you need to think about in a boat like this is that being fiberglass, and any boat will twist and contort somewhat while in a seaway. There's going to be squeaking, and if you can imagine a late night trying to get some sleep, you're on watch, your 4 hours are up, you go to bed, you need to get some sleep because you got another watch in 4 hours, and all you have to listen to is this. That just does my head in. There's nothing worse than stairs, cabinets, anything that squeaks. So I've got to work out a way that's going to stop that problem. I think probably where those circles are, where the pipe actually sits, I think a good big thick bead of Sikaflex is probably going to be the solution there. I don't want to be putting any felt or carpet or anything that could be subject to moisture. So by putting that in there, I could possibly circumvent some of that squeaking. That's what I'm working on at this stage, trying to work that out. What I'm going to do, I'm going to remove all this pipe work, and this needs to be greyed out. I just can't deal with the green, even though no one's going to ever see it other than me or a crew member that's sort of getting in to shut off an access valve or something. But I'm going to grey this area out, flow coat out wherever I'm not going to be glassing again, and I've had to work that out. That's taken a bit of time because I've got a cabinet here, another cabinet over here. I need to sort of limit it, but I also need to do what I can do before I glass that module in, and that guy is going in on Monday. I want to whack it in. I want to get it at least glued in place so that I can then start to do the glassing to finalise its position. There's quite a bit of work needing to be done down at the base of the stairs where it needs to glass onto the floor that I'm standing on here. Okay, so some very careful masking here. You can see what I'm aiming for here. I'm aiming for any area that I'm not going to fiberglass on again. So this entire area here behind the head is basically an area that's not going to be utilised because the stairs actually come down into here, and so that's going to be all flow coated, so it's easily wipeable and cleanable, and obviously behind the pipes here along this chamfer, along this chine here, I'm never going to be able to access that once these pipes go in. So we're getting close to getting this module in, and we've had it out several times today, haven't we, mate? Yeah, a few times, but it's been in, out, and that seems to be the way it is. All right, we're ready to flow coat. It's all masked out. We're ready to go. Johnny's here. He's supervising.
Yes.
Aren't you?
I'm ready to go, mate.
Check him out. Works so hard, this guy. Just comes in, sits, and gives good advice.
Oh, no. Flat out like a lizard drinking.
is where all my kayak building comes into play here. Learning how to remove tape. Got mate. I'm going to pull towards the gel coat.
Well, if they can't handle reality, they shouldn't watch the YouTube channel.
See, when I upload these videos, I've actually got to say whether it's got profanity in it. And if I tick yes, it has, it gives you a strike. It says, maybe advertisers won't like you, but I like a bit of profanity, and I know John really does.
No.
Yes, you do.
I'm honest, John.
Yeah, John likes a bit of a swear.
I don't talk with a forked tongue.
That is the truth. You are. What comes out of your mouth is honest. Oh, done it again.
Yeah, oh, that's all right.
It's only the second one. I always put two.
It's all right. Look at that, mate. 4 o'clock.
Alright, so these mounts have been epoxied in yesterday, so they're solid. The issue I've got is they're a bit long on one side, and I find that these garden hose fittings, I can just trim them with a brand new Stanley blade. If I just get some leverage on it, I can do quite a nice, neat trim. It does take a little bit of effort, but you're sort of slicing off the remnant, and then I can do a nice neat trim. And then what I intend to do is heat the back of it and then flour it or trumpet the end of it so that it can't ever pull back that way. It's never going to move. I just like to finish things properly. It's something I learnt with the kayaks when I used to make them with the rudder cables and things. I was always using garden hoses and conduits and the like. Now what I've done, they've actually got a trumpeted end on one end that stops them sliding through. I want to stop it from sliding through the other way. It's never going to move. I mean, once this is cable tied in, they're never going to move again. But what I'm trying to do is put a flower or a trumpet on this end as well to stop it going back that way. So effectively making a rivet. A good way to do that, which I learnt making kayaks and pulling rudder cables through conduits, is to burn, get a bit of a flame going, and simply heat the end of the tube. Get a fair bit of heat on it, and then just simply push a piece of flat metal against it, like the end of this screwdriver for instance, and then you end up with a beautiful sort of formed, almost like a grommet or a rivet that'll stop it going back the other way. Okay, so my conduits are all together. It's time to start to do a final fit. Now, very importantly, in this area here where the conduits actually fit into these brackets, there's going to be squeaking, so I'm going to have to put some Sikaflex in there to act as a barrier to stop any of that rubbing that we might get underway. I am absolutely paranoid about that. I'm just going to tie these up just to hold them in place like I did before. These are going to be held in with oversized cable ties, and essentially that way I can replace them if I need to. But you can see what I mean here. That sort of noise is going to ultimately give me the absolute willies. So it's better if I apply some Sikaflex in that and just glue it in place or tack it in place, just to avoid any chance of that noise, because that's the one thing that will drive you insane late at night, especially if you're in a bumpy sea. Right, so I've just got to check the alignment. In there, I'll tie this one up first to get right. Oh, I think that's going to work. There's no real urgency here. This Sikaflex will take all day to dry. So as I'm tightening that Sikaflex is squashing against the tube and hopefully eliminating that squeaking. And I guess this is something that I've learnt through the years, that you know, we all like a quiet boat, but some things you're not going to avoid, some things you can avoid, other things we're going to try and avoid at all costs. And squeaking freaking plastic pipes is something that, yeah, that's creating a nice cushion in there. And those plastic fittings are just a winner. I'm so glad I've done that. That's a game changer for me. Beautiful. I'm absolutely knackered. It's been a huge day. I don't know, I got up this morning, had like 5 minutes of paddleboarding, breakfast, bacon and eggs. Fuck, this day's just doing me in. I'm exhausted. And look at this lot.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Sunset at Stonehaven. I mean, it's incredible, isn't it, guys?
Beautiful, yeah.
There's been a few alcoholic beverages that to enjoy the sunset, which I'll if you're in lockdown at the moment, we're feeling for you. Not. We really are, Trace. We really are. Gotta have sympathy and empathy.
The Victorians.
Too soon!
Cheers, Melbourne.
Too soon.